Howdy, folks. I am Vital Virgo, virtuously valuing valorous violinists.
I'm Amber.
And here are more violinists for us to play the saddest song in the whole Reddit universe. So let's get started. And what is Virgo today, Amber?
The Virgin.
There you have it, folks. Let's get started. Alright, folks, then our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk If I Tell My Husband That He Can't Bring His PS5 When I'm in Labor? Basically what the title says. Just to note, my husband loves me very much and is an amazing man. He's been very involved in my pregnancy and has come to every appointment that he can get off of work for, and is super excited to be a dad. Anyways, tonight we were talking about when I will be in labor, and he asks if he could bring his PS5 to the hospital to play while I'm sleeping or something. Not while I'm actively laboring. My opinion is that if I'm the one suffering, the least that he can do is be present with me in on it. I doubt that I will sleep very much as I will be in labor. He thinks that because I have an epidural, I'll be able to sleep. I think that he is wondering what he will do if my labor extends to around 30 hours like my sister's did. I respect that, but my question is, what will I be doing? I get that he might feel bored, but I'm going to be the one that's pushing a baby out. Obviously, if I tell him I'm not comfortable with it, he would respect that. I'm just posting here with his knowledge because we both want to be right. To be completely honest, that being said, we're both open to being proved wrong. So Reddit, what are your thoughts? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think Opie's in the wrong here. I mean, like she said, she's the one who's gonna be in labor, and like I can only imagine if like he's in the middle of like some game on his PS5 and like all of a sudden things get intense, like the baby's coming out and he's like, oh, but I gotta finish my game, like, you
I
know.
gotta finish this level.
Yeah, like I understand him wanting to have something in his downtime, but like that's what phone apps are, like Candy Crush or like any of those Match 3 games where you can drop it in a second and like it doesn't matter.
I mean, I think that OP and their husband are speculating on this in a very odd way. Like, where is he going to even hook the PS5 up to? I mean, isn't this like a whole gaming console? Does he have like a portable screen he can take with him? Is he going to like apprehend one of the waiting rooms TVs and just play it in there? It seems odd. It seems odd. I mean, I agree. Like, there are probably other things that he can do to preoccupy himself if feels like he's bored, and that we're probably going to be a little less like hooky, uppy type of things. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't think it matters if he's trying to entertain himself on the off chance that his wife is, feeling sleepy in his sleep,
Well, I
right?
think he grossly overestimates how powerful epidurals are.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, again, like, there's nothing wrong with having, some games on his phone or like a book or something to, if it like will make him feel comfortable if there's downtime. But the important thing is that he doesn't get like in the middle of a game that he doesn't want to put down while OP's in active labor. Like, that seems like it would not be a very good time for OP.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time faulting him for wanting to be entertained to some degree, but again, like, this is kind of a harrowing experience, and it feels like with that, it's more flippant, and he's not kind of taking the seriousness of
Well,
it.
that's the thing is like he seems to think that like being bored for 30 hours is somehow the worst fate in the universe when like he's not going to be the one going through agonizing pain because like even with an epidural, I understand it's still not a very fun time.
Yeah, but let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care, and good luck. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not liking the birthday gift that my husband gave me after his weird explanation on why he got it? And Amber wants to read this one.
I'm a 25-year-old female and my husband a 31-year-old male, and we've been married for almost 3 years now. Everything is going well in our marriage, but when it comes to my birthday, I feel a bit odd. I love the fact that he puts in effort to buy me gifts on special occasions like our anniversary, Valentine's, birthdays, etc., but I feel like I'm a jerk for disliking the most of the things he gives me. A couple months ago, we were talking with my husband about the new iPhone 15 Pro Max I'd like to have. I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max right now. He asked me repeatedly why I want the iPhone 15 Pro Max instead of the smaller iPhone 15 Pro. I simply replied with, I don't know, I'm just used to bigger ones and I always watch all my series and YouTube videos on my phone, so the bigger screen is more useful to me, so when I feel that my current phone is dying, I will buy the newest one on my own. By the way, I hate watching TV because I move a lot in the house by doing household duties, so bringing the phone with me to continue watching my series is more useful to me. He insisted to me that it's a bit ridiculous to want the bigger phone, but that's how I feel and what's more practical to me. Fast forward to my birthday last weekend. I had a very fun birthday with my whole family, and everyone enjoyed the barbecue. After I blew out the candles, I received some cute gifts, and then my husband came up to me with his. He handed me a little box he wrapped really cute, and after opening it, I realized it was an iPhone Pro, not the Max. I was very happy because he obviously wanted to give me something I wanted. I hugged him and gave him a thank you kiss. However, when we came home, he asked me if I didn't like my gift. I said I did. That's when he said, I know you wanted the bigger one, but when I was at the phone mall, I was searching for the Pro Max, and that's when I saw the little one. I held both phones in my hands and thought the little one was more practical due to the difference in size, and it fit better in my hand. The seller also told me that wives who have the Pro Max are more likely to keep a Pro Max rather than switch to smaller sizes. I didn't care. The smaller one fit better, so I still don't understand why you want the bigger one, so that's why I got you this one. I was silent for a minute. I just smiled and thanked him again, went to the bathroom to take a shower. I feel like I don't like my gift anymore because of his weird explanation and the fact that he bought it because he felt it fit his hand better. I am the one who's going to use it. I don't know, it's odd to me, and I haven't used the new phone I got because I like my current phone much more. My husband doesn't talk to me and calls me ungrateful. Am I the jerk?
All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. A gift should be for the recipient, not for the other person. It seems like he's like has this whole thing about it fits better in my hand. It's not for your hand, dude. It's for your wife's hand.
Well, the odd thing here is that he should be buying a gift for OP because it's something that she wants, right? And he's making these weird excuses. I'm almost wondering if he didn't even have this conversation with the person at the mall and he had just bought her the iPhone 15 Pro a long time ago and had just decided that this was what she wanted. And then when she was like, oh, I like the bigger one better, he just came up with this elaborate story. But I don't know.
I mean, it just seems like he's one of those people who thinks he knows best and just does whatever he thinks is best. It sounds like this is a repeat problem in their relationship because OP doesn't like most of his gifts. It seems like the gifts aren't really meant with OP in mind as much as himself, and that's a problem.
Yeah, like everyone's going to have different preferences in their devices, and I think that that's important to keep in mind. Like, they have different size phones for a reason, right? If everyone had the same size phone, then, you know, everyone would have the same size phone, but they make them different sizes for different people because different people have different preferences.
Yeah, well, my phone is bigger than Brian's, and Brian actually bought me my phone, you know, with my needs in mind, especially because, like, the camera, I need a good camera, and so, you know, he actually took my specifications into consideration when picking a phone for me, and I really appreciate that. He wasn't like, but this tiny phone felt better in my hand, even though he does carry it regularly because I don't have pockets. He even carries my phone and still it gets me the phone I want, so.
Yeah, but let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Asking My Wife to Pull Her Weight? I'm a 34-year-old male and my wife is a 32-year-old female and she's around 7 weeks pregnant with our second child. Much like the first, she doesn't do much work other than nap and occasionally play with our 2-year-old toddler. I'm working about 60 hours a week and I do all the dinner, cooking, most of the chores, but unlike the first, and I'm doing most of the child rearing, around 75%, and almost all of the night waking. She started taking Unisom, which helps with nausea, but also is a sleep aid so that she is just unable to get up at night. We do have a daycare and a nanny. I guess I lost my patience when she asked me to take out the dirty dishes from her desk and refill her water, her nighttime routine, because she felt too tired. I told her that it's feeling like she's treating me like her personal servant. She said, what's the big deal about being a personal servant to somebody who's working 80 to 100 hours a week, essentially financially supporting the entire family and growing my kid? I told her that it's supposed to be a partnership, not a servitude situation. Anyways, she's been annoyed with me and asked our nanny to cover an extra 20 hours a week whenever our nanny is available and help with the chores. So, was I the jerk for asking her to pull her weight? Yes, she told me to go and write this and get a neutral party response. Alright folks, what do you think?
Yes, you're the jerk. I mean, it's not super relevant, but she's like a medical professional in this and is working literally 80 to 100 hours a week as a medical professional on top of being pregnant. And this whole, I do almost all the chores and child caring when they have a nanny and daycare, like, just kind of rings hollow. Like, I understand it can be rough to have to do housework and do extra housework because your partner is sick, but like, it sounds like she's having a really rough go of it.
Well, I do think that, of course, in relationships, you do need to work out how chores are distributed and make sure that everything is equitable. And given that she's working 100 hours a week and sometimes 80 to 100 hours a week, it shouldn't come as any surprise to him, like what he was going to get into if she was already a medical professional. But also, like, they do have extra help, and it doesn't seem like he's doing everything. It does seem like she's probably tired because she's actually growing a whole human being in her. And I do think that, like, maybe he feels like he is getting the short end of the stick, or maybe that she's taking advantage of his kindness or something, right? But those are problems that I think they need to discuss in therapy and couples counseling, right?
Yeah, well, the thing that gets me is it sounds like she's stuck between a rock and a hard place because she has really bad nausea that has to be medicated or she can't do her job. But the medication makes her so drowsy that she can't, like, and so, like, it's just such a bad situation to be in where it's like, am I going to be constantly throwing up or am I going to be falling asleep on my feet?
Yeah.
And, like, he doesn't seem to be concerned at all that she is, like, stuck with these two really bad situations. He's just like, but I don't like doing work for you.
Well, and I mean, I can understand him feeling tired,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I mean, if he's tired and he feels like he's exhausted and he needs a break, then that's important for them to talk about and try to figure it out. But and again, like, she's actively sick, and you can't expect a perfect split of chores when somebody's also sick, right?
Right.
And it's a difficult situation because in relationships you're always going to have, like, competing interests. And I think that this is, again, one of those situations where I don't think he understands how much she's going through, and maybe he can is having a hard time empathizing because maybe he's tired and he's worn out. So again, I think this is a situation where they really need to sit down with a therapist and kind of talk out these problems and actually have better communication.
Yeah, but I think he should also not devalue what she's going through because I think
Yeah.
that's my biggest issue with the whole thing.
Oh
He's
yeah.
acting like she's doing nothing when she's working like 80 to 100 hours every week on
Yeah.
top of being pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like she is doing absolutely nothing. I mean, there are some people whose pregnancies are so bad they can't do anything, and, like, no shame on them, but, like, she is working 80 to 100 hours a week. It's not like she is not doing anything.
Yeah, did he say he was working 60
60,
hours a
yeah.
week? And I think at that point in time, with them both working so much, it's probably really stressful, a really stressful household, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's just not a good solution here because they're both working a tremendous number of hours, right? 60 hours a week is a lot of hours a week,
Well, it
right?
sounds like she's making the majority of the money, so maybe he could drop down in work hours potentially. Like, if he's feeling really burnt out doing everything, could he cut back and work for a little bit or
Yeah.
something like that?
And it's hard for medical professionals to get hours to cut back on because
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a demanding field. So I feel bad for both of them because this is a really stressful situation, and I think that this is more or less them both being at their wits' end and having a hard situation. But let me know what you folks think. Oh, and I do want to say that I do agree with Amber here that he is devaluing what she's doing too, right? I do want to make that clear that I don't think, like, he's all in the clear here, but I do think that he should see things from her perspective and her view, and hopefully they can sit down and talk and work things out. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I just realized that my cat knows what a sunset is and purposely tries to get a glimpse of them every day, and my heart just can't take it. And Amber wants to read this one.
Around 5 p.m. ish every day, my cat comes to this one big glass door that opens to our apartment balcony. And like most cats, she loves the warmth of the sunlight when it shines on her. But more than even that, she'll meow and look at us curiously until we scoop her up and hold her up at our eye level. She'll reach her little paws forward and rest them against the glass and stare at the sun as it starts to drift below the city skyline. She's a creamy toasted marshmallow color with dark blackish points and long coated. When the sun touches her fur, the ends of her hair glow. She looks like a little golden angel. I think it might be the most beautiful thing I witness of her on a regular, and I've never thought about why she does it every day. But I think I just realized my cat knows what time the sun sets and wants to look at it every day, and that might be the most beautiful thing about her I have yet to discover. Help, why do I want to cry?
All right, folks, what do you think of that nice
So
story?
cute, so wholesome. I love it.
Yeah, it is really wholesome. I mean, it's nice to know. I mean, it seems like if this is a pattern that the cat's repeating, then it may very well be that she recognizes the sunset and wants to see it, or is she trying to understand it and comprehend it, you know? And I mean, sometimes you can find beauty in some of the more innocent things in life, right? Which is cats trying to watch sunsets.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has another jovial Bob Stein joke.
Clyde walked into the den holding his report card. Pop, I've got great news for you. Remember you promised me a computer if I passed in school? Clyde's father nodded. Well, I decided to spare you that expense this year.
That is good news for Clyde's father. Not such good news for Clyde. I like that. I like that all right. I think Jovial Bob Stein did an okay job on that one. And I have to make a mint. You can tell how old these jokes are because not every person was walking around with a computer at that point in time. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a haiku.
Cats are beautiful, sunsets magnificent, and both are amazing.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.